Casemiro has been disrespected and is not finished at Man United. Now, Rio Ferdinand says something interesting here.
I think it is a little bit. I heard Jerry Carragher say, what do you say? Leave the
No,
game before the game leaves
leave
you.
the football before the football leaves you.
I just think that's highly disrespectful. I just think it's really disrespectful because, like, especially given what my man's won.
Well,
what
Casemiro
has done.
His wife also let us know what he won as well when she posted.
Yeah, the Brazilian wife
story.
don't play. Don't mess around with a Brazilian woman's man, because she will post pictures and stuff. Yeah, but she showed trophy cabinet. They didn't have a cabinet big enough for all his medals, by the way.
Yeah.
But I just think it's a tad disrespectful in that. If there's more to it than just he's made a couple of because if you look at the 2 games before this season, he's been probably arguably Man United's best player.
He was.
Right? But what I would say is that I think it's easier to say that he's gone. He's finished. He's too old. He's almost 32 or he's 32 years old, right? But I believe, when I look at him, I just feel that he's being asked to do a lot of things, like play 30-yard balls and dictate the pace of the game, etc. These are things that Man United would never have recruited him for. Because he'd never been asked to do this at Real Madrid.
Yeah.
He was cleaning up, security in front, slide tackling, covering all the gaps, and then giving it to other people to play football. But he's being asked now to do things that he's never been asked to do before. So he's going to make mistakes because that's not his natural game. The only way that Casemiro can succeed at Manchester United is if the structure of the team is there to support the type of player that he is. You buy players to fit in a system the way that you play. Casemiro has been put into a team that is playing a way that he's never played before. Big spaces, transitions. Do you think Madrid play like that?
No.
He's getting the ball, he's 10-yard pass, 15-yard passes, Cruz, Modric, might play into the gap, etc. every now and again. And I'm sitting here and being a fireman.
Casemiro is the latest victim of the microscope. Yes, the microscope. We've seen this time and time and time again with Manchester United. The media and the fans, they pick someone out when they've hit a run of bad form and then they zero in on every facet of their performance, focusing on every minute detail of every mistake that they make. David De Gea, Marcus Rashford, Harry Maguire, they've all come under the dreaded microscope at one point in their career. But that's just part and parcel of being at Man United, the biggest club in the world. Now, Rio Ferdinand is absolutely right, though, when he says that Casemiro is being asked to play a way that doesn't suit him. And at 32 years old, it's unlikely he'll learn this new style, especially when it doesn't suit his core skill set. Now, Casemiro has always played a very no-nonsense kind of football. Break-up play, pass to others. At Real Madrid, he had Luka Modric, Toni Kroos either side of him, and as Rio rightly says, he'd protect the back four, pass to one of those two, and then they would hit teams on the counter-attack with players like Bale and Ronaldo. And at United, though, he hasn't really had a settled partnership in midfield. McTominay was never as good as Kroos. Manu is still young and not the finished article. Eriksen's legs have truly gone. Mason Mount is made of glass and he's barely played. And Bruno Fernandes, well, he's more of a number 10. So it's been a bit difficult for Casemiro to do all the heavy lifting on his own. Now, when Erik ten Hag first took over at United, the position that he wanted filled was defensive midfield. And his primary target was Frankie de Jong. Now, Frankie de Jong is a deep-lying playmaker of the highest order and perfect for Ten Hag's possession-based system. Now, he would have been able to dictate play from the back and pick out passes and unleash players in front of him. Unfortunately, de Jong wasn't interested though, so United moved to plan B when Casemiro became available. Now, despite Casemiro not being the right profile for what United were looking for, Ten Hag thought that he was such a good player, it would be foolish to turn him down. Now, don't forget, this was before Ineos and the restructure of the club's recruitment team. So maybe had Dan Ashworth been in place at the time, perhaps he would have steered Ten Hag away from Casemiro and we'd have gotten Sandro Tonali instead, which would have been a tactically much better fit, to be fair. But he'd have been banned for 12 months. So maybe buying Casemiro, we dodged a bullet in the long run. Anyway, upon United's acquisition of Casemiro, Ten Hag was forced to alter his own style of play based on the players that he had. So in his first season, he played a counter-attacking style, which suited Casemiro and other players like Rashford. And it's curious to see that once he reverted back to the possession-based style, those two players in particular floundered. Now, granted, there's been a lot of injuries, so it's still a bit early to tell if Casemiro will adapt or not, even though it's looking highly unlikely. But for Carragher to suggest that he's finished completely is highly disrespectful. We just need Ten Hag to adapt a little to get the most out of him, and which he's proved that he can do, and maybe if he does that, we'll see an upturn overall in results and performances. Now, Owen Hargreaves makes a fair point.
One thing I would say is now, at this age, Sir Alex would have done a really good thing with him. He would have had him play 25 games. And he would have also mentored the other players and been a bit of a leader in the dressing room. You can't dismiss, this man's won 5 Champions Leagues. Look who Casemiro used to play with at Real Madrid. And had
Tony Cruz,
Modric, right? And had crazy success, right? Okay, I know he's 32 now, but now he's playing with people, maybe they don't compliment him. So then the manager's got to say, right, I got Casemiro there. He's one of our best players. He's on a big contract. I got to put somebody around him to help him. And I tell you who might be that guy, Ugarte. That kid is unreal out of position. He's a walking tackle. So maybe that's a good little fit. You play a little, double six and play Ugarte and Casemiro for a little bit to keep the solidity a little bit. Play Bruno as a number 10. So I do think partnerships,
key,
centre back, midfield, they're everything.
It is true, Casemiro is the wrong side of 30. And there is some truth to Jamie Carragher's suggestion that his legs might have gone, so to speak. But, as Owen Hargreaves says, Sir Alex would have used Casemiro sparsely, protecting him from burnout and using him in the big games when the team needed a bit of experience to play alongside the younger players. The way that the manager managed Giggs, Scholes and Ferdinand himself. So if Ten Hag can do this, if he can adjust tactically a little, especially with the signing of Ugarte supporting him, then hopefully we can see a stronger, more consistent Casemiro. And it's also important to note Casemiro has barely had a break over the past 2 years, playing in the most physical league in the world and playing for Brazil as well. So no wonder the guy has been out of form. He's burnt out. The poor lad's knackered. But I agree with Owen. Play him sparsely, alternating with Menu perhaps, because we don't want to burn him out as well. Play him alongside Ugarte to provide that solid foundation in midfield, which would hopefully unleash our more creative and attacking players like Bruno Fernandes, Marcus Rashford and Alejandro Garnacho. Then the only thing we need to worry about is scoring goals. So no, Casemiro is not finished. He just needs rested properly, and he needs the right partners in midfield, and he needs the right system to utilise his no-nonsense approach. Now, he is getting on a bit, but he still has enough talent and experience to be a huge asset for Man United this season. So hopefully, time will prove the big D right. But what do you think? Is Casemiro for the scrap heap? Thoughts in the comments, please.